people get too offensive with Mike Gilbert specifically. And I love Mike. He's one of my dearest friends, but he is an absolute shit stirrer. Like constant, like I laugh. I send you your own tweets sometimes laughing about what a troll you are. Like Mike
Yeah.
lives to fucking troll people. And if you like, that's like the work, right?
Yeah.
And like to see these like professionals who take themselves so seriously get worked up by you just makes me roll my eyes every fucking time. I'm like, why do they keep falling for you just being a dick? Like,
Yeah. And especially because I have gone away from even mentioning people when I'm being a dick. I don't reply to anybody. I'm on my own timeline being a dick, being a meathead,
yeah,
trying to
that's our
make
brand.
this piece of shit Keep It Wolfson laugh. Like I'm just trying to make him laugh, trying to make you laugh, trying to make the BFI chat guys laugh.
Yeah.
It's not really serious. Oh, JD, I have a tweet ready to go. It's not written yet, but it's in my head.
Lay it on
And
me.
it's gonna come out. It's gonna come out on Thursday. So
Okay.
So Tuesday is NXT Showdown, and they're going head to head with AEW Title Tuesday. As far as I know, AEW Title Tuesday, their only match they have announced so far is Mercedes Moné versus Florida Woman. I think they might have. I think Moxley is actually. I did see. I think I saw that Josh Alexander's wrestling Ibushi, which I'm interested in.
That's kind of
personally.
cool, actually. Yeah,
that sounds like a good match.
it does.
But the fact that NXT is on CW and they're going head to head, NXT is going to beat them probably pretty handily. And they're doing the whole showdown gimmick with TNA. They have the whole card promoted already. It's being promoted all over main roster stuff, ads everywhere. I get the feeling. I get the feeling NXT is going to beat them pretty handily. So we're going to get those numbers on Thursday. And my tweet is going to be TNA with some help from NXT defeats AEW Dynamite head to head, right? And you know that I'm just like, you understand what I'm doing.
I'm laughing already.
Everybody in the chat knows what I'm doing, right? But there's going to be about 200 people on Twitter that have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. And they're like, oh, this piece of shit. So I'm gonna have to mute it right away. They're gonna call for my head. They're probably gonna send the National Guard after me. Like it's gonna be a whole thing because they hate mathematics. They hate shit posting. And I can't wait. I'm just so excited when it happens.
I'm impressed with how, for WWE, who constantly says AEW is not competition, to take it so seriously that they're loading up and making sure people watch NXT.
Yeah.
To win a pointless war when you're comparing network to cable. When it's funny, you asked me to do some research on the new Nielsen stuff, right? So I did some digging. TV business fascinates me. I haven't gotten to a big conversation about it for a while. So Nielsen's new, and I read up on Thurston. Brandon Thurston's even trying to make heads or tails of this and struggling. Nielsen's changed the way they're gathering information. They're essentially harvesting information. It used to be under the old, and again, here too, Nielsen has not been the same for what we think of. How Nielsen did stuff when we were kids, when Nitro and Raw had their little back and back, totally different than how they're harvesting now. Used to be you have your Nielsen family audiences, they're clocking what they're watching, right? And that's where the sample size comes from. So it's never, they said 8 million people watched. Well, maybe 8 million people watched, right? It's an estimate, but it's the estimate everybody win. And like if someone puts out the moon is 26,000 miles away from Earth, and everybody generally accepts that that's true, even though it might not be true, we all kind of operate on that. So that's kind of how Nielsen is. Everyone's playing by the same bat. So the new Nielsen data, right? It wasn't just these small samples. Now they're trying to get more big picture data that's taking information from their homes, from streaming services, from more big sources, big data. And they're still not terribly clear on what that means, right? And what I was reading Thurston, which has been interesting, is everyone thought it would make the rating points go higher, and it has for everything else on television, with the exception of wrestling. Wrestling is gone, and it's across the board. It's not just AEW. It's AEW, it's NXT, it's WWE. Like everything is lower than it was with these new Nielsen numbers. And again, what does Nielsen mean? Here's why Nielsen is a joke for wrestling to begin with. Madison Avenue, the people who buy advertising, like the advertisers themselves. That's what advertisers want, to target their products to specific people. It's getting more difficult in this age of streaming. Like, you watch what's crushing in the ratings, it's old people, it's older Xers and baby boomers watching Fox News. That's who generally watches regular cable television. So those ratings are through the roof. But those people don't buy new shit, right? They've been buying the same brand of socks since 1984, and they're going to keep doing it. So advertisers think, well, they're not worth advertising to because they're not going to influence them. I want to advertise to young viewers, but it's hard to find, or young consumers, but it's hard to target young consumers. It's why there's so much advertising on YouTube. It's why there's advertising on TikTok. It's why there's advertising on Instagram and all that shit, right? So they're having a hard time reaching them. So the idea is that you want to target your avatar, your customer avatar. You want these people to look to see your product so they buy it. The problem is advertisers assume that all wrestling fans are poor and stupid. So he wants to advertise their product to poor, stupid people. That is literally so. So WWE gets great ratings and always has, and shit advertising.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's where kind of this is why ratings points really matter. And we can sit there and like dick swing, well, this is the number 2 show and this is the number 4 show. But in reality, that shit doesn't matter. Like, Eric Bischoff made that stuff matter.
Yeah.
Nobody fucking cared until Eric Bischoff started talking about, we're number 1. Guess what? WCW almost always had better ratings than WWF. WWF didn't give a fuck about ratings.
Yeah.
Until
they had pay-per-views and ticket sales.
That's it. They dominated it. WCW had to cancel
toys.
Toys. And WCW had to cancel their house show business for years because they weren't selling. WWF didn't give a fuck what their ratings points were until they did. So all this talk about what's the number 2 promotion, what's the number 4 promotion, who gives a fuck? None of it matters.
Yeah,
none of it matters. You're getting paid. And here's the thing. Well, this is the scary thing nobody wants to talk about. These networks are ran by complete and total fucking morons who spend obscene amounts of money on stuff they can never get back. They're never going to see ROI on anything because in reality, they're going to be gone in 3 years and somebody else is going to have to pick up the pieces. This is why these conversations are stupid, because nobody knows what the media landscape is going to look like in a year, let alone 3 years, let alone 5 years. Do you think Raw is going to be on Netflix for 15 years?
No.
Come on, man. Use your brain.
Yeah. Case in point, Paramount gave UFC $1.1 billion a year and is not even going to sell pay-per-views, right? Like, you might be able to maybe get close to making that back if you were selling pay-per-views, because they do a lot of pay-per-views. But that's just
well on pay-per-view.
Yes, they're still a monster on pay-per-view. So yeah, you might be able to get that back if you're doing $70 pay-per-views and you're doing 2 a month. You might be able to get to 1.1 billion, and you do product placement, advertising, new subscriptions, all that stuff. But there's no way they're making that back. And
they don't care.
Yeah, they don't care because money is fake to them. It's just all about access to power, and that's what the fuck Larry Ellison is doing. He's trying to buy up all these media conglomerates, that way he can push his agenda, and that's why he's got CBS News, 60 Minutes. 60 Minutes just did a puff piece on Dana White. It's like, it used to be the greatest news show in the history of the world, and they just did a puff piece on Dana White.
Yeah, Barry Weiss is now the new director of news for CBS. The problem is like the problem. Here's what the problem is, Mike. I have a friend who sends me these AI videos that are horrifyingly realistic.
Hey, I hope whoever that friend is understands that there's some baby pygmy in Bangladesh that can have a cup of water today because of that video. I hope they understand that.
They're remarkably entertaining. But that's the thing though, is Neil deGrasse Tyson, my kid wants to be an astrophysicist, so he's like super into Neil deGrasse Tyson. So I get all this Neil deGrasse Tyson like stuff on my feed. He said, and he's a great call, we're reaching a point of post-truth where we're going to assume that anything we see is AI, that everything is fake. So what that means is, now a lot of people be scared by this. And he was like, no, what this means is people are going to stop getting their news this way. and it's going to change the way we consume news is going to be different. Again, what does that mean? Nobody knows quite yet, but we're going to see a video and assume that's fake.
Yeah,
And
I
but news is
watched.
still going to be real.
Yeah, I watched one of those AI videos today. I didn't make it, but I watched one where it was Tupac on Raw cutting a promo on Biggie, and it was Tupac. Like you're what? No, it's like it was legitimately like that was actually Tupac. Like you're watching that. It was wild how
Some
accurate.
asshole sent me Elvis and Kurt Cobain doing a unplugged duet. So,
That looked pretty good too, actually.
it looked amazing.
And
It looked
only
fucking
a
amazing.
sick person would want to watch Kurt or Elvis in his 50s singing a duet with Kurt Cobain on Unplugged show.
Honestly, I wished it actually did. I watched this, I'm like, I wish this was real. But
Yeah.
that's the problem. Is like we're not going to be able to trust anything,
Right.
nothing. So when you trust, this is the thing. We're going to reach a point where you trust nothing. Then how do we get information? Nobody knows the answer to that yet.
Yeah. We have no idea. So I just want to hammer this ratings thing home. So I did pull some data. So Nielsen was doing panel only meetings. So they had like families that were signed up, and they were covering about 40,000 homes. And
Our buddy Wade was one of them. Yeah.
yeah, and David Bixenspan, I think I'm not on Blue Sky, but it was shared in a group chat that I'm in. David Bixenspan brought it up on Blue Sky that he thinks that maybe pro wrestling fans were being overcounted because pro wrestling fans are more aware of what Nielsen boxes are, and they were signing up so that way they could watch their favorite wrestling show and actually help their favorite wrestling show. And we know that that's happened because we do have a friend, Wade, that's a big pro wrestling fan who had a Nielsen box, and he said, "Hey," he told me one time, he was like, "Hey, Mike, I didn't get a chance to watch Impact tonight. I think the numbers are going to be down tomorrow." And sure enough, they were down by like 20% from the week before. And so it was such a small sample size. So now the new one, big panel, or big data plus
Big
panel.
data. Yeah.
So big data is all the streaming services, the TVs, the Apple TVs, Amazon Fire Sticks, your devices. They're actually covering upwards of 75 million devices. A huge sample size. So I say all that to say they're taking that and they're brushing it up against the old school stuff. They're blending the two together. I get the feeling that the numbers that we're having right now is probably the most accurate depiction of what ratings we can get right now. And what we were getting before was mostly horseshit from back in the old school Nielsen stuff.
I think you're right. And I think that the idea that wrestling fans would like look at, what the great anecdote for this would be Cage Match. When Tony Khan started talking about Cage Match, all of a sudden the ratings on like WWE Cage Match stuff went up because those people became aware of Cage Match.
Yeah.
So they went there to make sure what they liked was protected. So, and Bix is unique with this because his dad, that was his business. Like when Bix was growing up, Bix's dad worked in this. So Bix's dad, I don't know if they were Nielsen,
okay,
or like this is what Bix's dad did. He worked in the TV business end of things. So again, a lot of stuff I've learned about this. I've learned from listening and reading Bix's work. So if Bix is saying that look like wrestling fans are oversampled, I think there's a lot of truth to that.
Yeah.
And the new ratings seem to bear that. So this is why Nielsen ratings have never been the gospel, but it's the gospel that everybody kind of accepts because everyone's playing off the same.
Right. I don't think anybody ever really fully trusted the data, but it was all the data that we had.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? So that's why whenever people will suggest that AEW Dynamite is doing so well on Max, when we don't have the data, I have a hard time even accepting that because we just don't have, I haven't seen the numbers. Like, no, like I know BJ had some data, but a lot of people kind of pushed up against that. And we like BJ and we trust BJ, but we just didn't get enough people saying the same thing to where we can kind of completely like trust that data. You know what I mean?
I believe someone told BJ that.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that the way that it was counted, it was probably counted a lot like, and I think Zarian said that he thinks that the way that it was counted is a lot like the way that YouTube is counted is like, if you watch for a second, then it counts as a view. And so I still have like every time I go into Max and I want to watch AEW on Max, I have to go and search for it. Or I have to go into the sports thing. It's not on my front page, but you know what is on my front page? Superman movie, real time, Superman the animated series. I watch a lot of Josh Gates and I watch Mysteries at the Museum on there. Okay, I'm fucking old. I get it. I'm old Caucasian. I watch old Caucasian shit. And like that stuff's on my front page. Dynamite is not. I have to go to the sports tab or I have to like search for it. I don't think that they're like 500,000. I don't think that we're there. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I don't know, but I do know that this week that WB had no problem announcing that Superman had crushed all of their 10-day streaming records.
Yeah.
Superman was the most streamed thing in HBO Max history for the first 10 days. It is
Right.
done. It is
You're welcome, HBO, by the way. Yeah.
they are because I did the same thing. My kid loves that movie. It's an awesome movie. Yeah. So they have no problem releasing that information. If they were super happy about it, they'd tell people. But that's the thing is like, who are we to? I mean, Netflix always says stupid ratings too. 8 billion people watch Stranger Things. Like, I mean, they do. It doesn't mean anything.
I think there was probably a handful of people that watched Stranger Things multiple times, and we'll leave it with this. So I watched Superman the animated series episode 1.
Good, right?
And yeah, it's a good show so far. I really like it. And so Superman's parents, like Superman's a baby in this one, and his parents are in Krypton, right? And his dad is some type of politician, right? And he's got the council together. The world's about to end, right? And he has a way to save everybody, but no one wants to listen to him. They're listening to an AI computer called Brainiac. Now, this is 30 years ago, JD. They're listening to Brainiac, the AI computer, and the humans are trusting the computer more than they trust Superman's dad, who has like a legitimate way to save everybody. But no, they said Brainiac's like, no, this is fake. None of what he's saying is true. Ends up trying to get him arrested, right? And then turns out Brainiac was just lying because he's trying to get rid of everybody so he can have total power. And yet here I am watching Tupac videos on WWF Raw 1998, and they're getting ready to fucking take over. So there you go.
First of all, you're in for such a treat. Brainiac becomes one of Superman's greatest villains ever, and this particular interpretation of Brainiac is my favorite version of Brainiac. Like, you're getting other side of JD here. This version, like, I think this version of Brainiac, if the rumors are that the next Superman movie is going to be a Superman villain that has never been in film before, and it sounds like it's going to be Brainiac. Knowing James Gunn, I really hope that they lean in and do this version of Brainiac, because this version of Brainiac becomes a robot, essentially like a killer robot. And he's awesome. He's so cool. I love Brainiac. So I hope that they kind of steer into this. And I think that it's very apropos of where we are now. Like, James Gunn swears to God he wasn't doing Palestine and Israel in that movie.
He was. he 100% was. Yeah.
But, I just, he could say, I wasn't doing it. I hope that's kind of where they go. That's a great comparison, Mike. I appreciate that.
Yeah. We were talking about AI. All right, hold on. Maria says, anybody see that AI actress? No, I have not. I know what you're talking about, but
spooky.
Yeah, it is creepy. But I think AI can be good. Like, some idiot can type in Lee Harvey Oswald does an interview from his jail cell proclaiming his innocence and blaming the whole thing on a UFO conspiracy and the CIA. And then it comes up and it looks like it's a movie from 1963.
Sure did, man. Sure did.
And that's Oswald's voice. It looks just like him. It is super authentic. And it said exactly what I told it to say, or the hypothetical if I was one to do that. I don't kill baby pygmies in Bangladesh. That's not me. Okay.
I showed my wife that and she's like, what is that? And I'm like, God damn it, you can't appreciate any of these jokes. Like,
yeah,
this is Lee Harvey Oswald blaming. I'm never mind.
Yeah. I'm just gonna go you should send her the one that has Abraham Lincoln doing a wrestling promo on Jefferson Davis.
I did. That's the first one I showed her. And she's like, this is what you guys do with your time. And I said, yes, it is.
So this is my friend. He's a total fucking idiot.
fully aware. Both our wives were fully aware of how stupid their friends are.
Yeah, I showed it to my wife, and she's like, "This is stupid." It's like, you're right. It is stupid.
It looked great though. Like, and I imagine this is what Lincoln probably might have sounded like. Yeah, Mike sent me a video of Abraham Lincoln cutting a promo on Jefferson Davis with the "Raw is War" microphone. It's really well done. It's evil as fuck. Really well done.
Yeah. I'm sorry, baby pygmies in Bangladesh. My bad. I hope you get that glass of water soon. So
Rich Craich hates us both now because of this.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Can't stand either one of us.
Yeah. But here's my thing. I think it's scummy. I think it's gross, but it's here and it's not going away. So I'm just gonna learn how to use it.
Dude, I'm a tech teacher. We just finished our AI art unit in Photoshop, and every year I have students refuse to participate, and I'm like, I get it. You got to stand for something, but as your teacher in a tech class, I have to show you this because it's part of the program. Like, and it's, AI is not the future. It's here. It's the present.
We have to learn. If you're not using it, you're gonna be way behind.
Right.
I just did a few-hour training on Microsoft Copilot. Like just a few weeks ago, because our company is adopting that. And it's a useful tool. It's really good software. I know I used it for like a year before I got this job. So I'm like pretty well versed in how to use it. So it's good stuff.
We have to learn to control it or else we're going to let it go crazy. Like that's we're in the Wild West right now, but even the Wild West was tamed eventually.
Yes. Yep, 100%. All right, guys. Hey, little plug. Me and Joe, cousin Joe Gilbert, we are currently in negotiations to do a Tuesday night show. I also have to negotiate with my wife. But you got the NXT Showdown. He's a big NXT fan, and he hit me up. He wants to do a post show about it. So I was like, okay, well, maybe we'll think of something. Maybe do it for the Patreon. So go to patreon.com/the Mike and JD show. We're in negotiations to get that done. The next week is next Sunday night is Bound for Glory. So we'll try to talk Bound for Glory next Sunday night and maybe even do a special show for that. But all right, guys, so that's gonna do it for us this time, the Mike and JD show. And until next time, mahalo.
Competition starting to get thick, it's the click, so I hope you watch your A game. Ain't made no rain from the track when we unite and spit. This isn't A game, better bring your A game. Competition starting to get thick, it's the click, so I hope you watch your A game. Ain't made no rain.
I feel like